We're starting a new series in here which would be focused more precisely on the technical aspect of things. So every video which will be coming in this series will contain some kind of technical discussion, maybe a review or a tech talk, or maybe a tutorial which would allow people to understand more deep aspects of things. For this video, we're going to talk about a little bit about the setup of things when you're buying a new machine. Maybe you would want to do a reinstall, or maybe you're trying to do configurations which kind of hard in a way to do. So with this new implementation which I'm about to talk about will help you to do an automated install of certain things which we as a developer do use on a daily basis. Now think of a scenario where you might have to do a reinstallation of your system-wide configuration. Maybe your system has crashed, or your time capsule has gone out of the flew to somewhere else, it's not working anymore, or maybe you wanted to do a debug session on an older machine, or maybe you're a DevOps or a system engineer who wanted to reconfiguration across multiple machines. Now in those scenarios, if you have to do reconfigure your machines all the time, this could take a lot of efforts. Now to ease that, I'm going to talk about a lazy dev setup utility, basically a shell script utility which would allow you to tweak those things with just one single command, and you would be able to install GSH, a power level 10K, which is a nicer eye candish for your terminal, and oh-my-zh, plus other packages which you use on a daily basis, with the flexibility to actually tweak the script and add as many tools or packages or cars. If you're familiar with brew terminology, you would know what I mean by cars and all those things. So without wasting any more time, let's go back in there. So I'm going to talk about a little bit in here, and we'll take you to the main repo. So as you can see, this is the main repository which I was talking about. This is a lazy dev setup. Now as you can see on the screen, this is a shell script which basically allows you to do the automated install of power level 10K and oh-my-zh. Plus it has the flexibility to choose any of your packages like a command line tools or command line task which you wanted to install or which you use on day-to-day basis. Now the installation is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is clone the repo, navigate to the directory, add some permission for execution, and run it. There are some intervention required, like passwords, like once or twice, and the rest of the things should be taken care of very easily. Now as I scroll down, the default installation or the default configuration which comes by default, it allows you to set a host name. For a person like me, I'm very much into like having a very restrictive user with a restrictive host name. Like I don't want my system to be named as like ABCDEF or XYZ, but I want to be called as like MacBook Pro or MacBook or ProBook or something like that, Plus it'll allow you to install Homebrew. For many of us this is a nightmare, because every time you have to go back in there, copy the command from Homebrew, and then come back in here and do all that stuff. But not anymore. You just have to clone the repo, and that should be done for you. And then at times you might need to install some basic dev packages which you need. For example, you might want to do SSH, OpenSSH, or maybe you would want to install GNU utils, or maybe you want to install core utils, and like all those things. Plus it'll be you want to do maybe add some kind of a nice color theme for your Vim. By default there's only one option as of now, but it looks nice, and I think it should suit most of us. And then you might be interested in installing power level 10K, which is a if you use terminal like on day-to-day basis, like regularly like me, probably we would want to have some kind of a nice juicier interface through which could be very easy to interact with, and some nicer fonts. And plus, on top of that, you might want to install oh-my-zh. So if you're not aware what is oh-my-zh, probably you want to navigate through the website and maybe do a little bit of reading, but I'm not going to talk about in this video about oh-my-zh, but it's definitely something which is worth taking a look at if you have not heard of it, and I would highly recommend to go to their website and check them out. Probably I might do a video on that, but that's something for later. For now, let's go back in there and get our hands dirty with the Lady Dev setup. So I'm just gonna go in here and copy this line. So I think I don't have anything in here. All right, this is clean. So I'm gonna do a copy. So for the first time when you do a git cloning, by default Xcode, the default installation of macOS does not come with git. So when you do that, probably the system will ask you to install the git. All you have to do is just click install and that should be done for you. If that's the case, and if you're able to do the git installation, you might want to read on the git clone command in here. Thing we want to do is we'll copy the next line from here, copy it, paste in here, hit enter. It allows me to define a host name. I'll call it ProBook, hit enter, and then it's asking me to install the command line tools because this is a fresh new system, so the command line tools are not installed. So I'm just simply gonna say install, agree to the license agreement, and it's going to download the software from the Apple server, so it's going to take a second. This is probably take a while, so I'm going to skip this part real quick and I'll come back when the Xcode command line tools are installed. Alright, so the command line tools are now installed. Hit done. And as you can see, the script was waiting to proceed further. We'll simply say yes, and as soon as you hit yes, it's going to quickly download the homebrew and do a clone on the system itself. This might take a while because this is a lengthier process and it'll have to download all the respective homebrew cask and everything from the brew website, or the servers basically in this case, and it'll configure them on my local machine one by one. Once it is done, it will start installing all the casks and the applications or the packages which I'm interested in. So while the package is being installed, let me take you to the configuration of the packages. So as I mentioned before, all the packages, they're being defined in a separate file, and based on user preferences, these packages could be tweaked to the need. So every respective package which has a hash marked in front of it will be ignored, which is like a universal standard of commenting, and the package will not be installed at all. So this is just the basic way the script, the tool basically works as of now, and I have my own set of packages which I prefer to install, so I have marked them as like a default standard, but feel free to tweak the packages for cask and packages to your needs as the way you would want them to appear or install. So I'll wait for my process to finish, let all packages being installed, and once I'm done, we'll get back with the final version. So I'll speed up this part a little bit. So we have reached the end of the part where system has already been downloaded with the latest packages and all the necessary configuration. It's asking to change my default shell to GSH for my user, which I would want to have. Enter my password in there, and there you go. So pretty much all the configuration has been done, all the necessary package has been installed, and my system is up and ready for me to start coding again. If you really like my work, please do donate. It will really help me to keep my channel up and possibly get me a meal. Thank you. You have a good day. Take care. Be safe.